I must hasten to add that while I'm an avid golfer, I'm just an average golfer. Professor Warwick Bagg, Dean of the Medical School, University of Auckland. Pro Vice Chancellor Pacific, Jemima Tiatia. Sir Colin Tukuitonga, Associate Dean of the Pacific Faculty of Medical and Health Sciences Administration and Director of the Auckland Research Centre, Te Poutoko Ora a Kiwa. Distinguished panelists and guests, the academic faculty and students of Auckland University, ladies and gentlemen, kia ora and warm Pacific greetings to you all here this afternoon, and to those of you tuning in from across the Pacific region. At the outset, allow me to recognize the Auckland Research Centre, Te Poutoko Ora a Kiwa, for convening such a timely conversation for our region, particularly at this time. Me te kamata, Sir Colin, for honouring me with this invitation to share a few reflections on my own leadership journey. Indeed, it is in opportunities such as this that we take pause to see how far we have come, the lessons we have learned, and to look forward to what lies ahead. While mine may be a leadership journey that pales in comparison to those who have gone before me, I nevertheless hope that it has made a small but meaningful contribution to my country, to my region, and to my Pacific people. Ladies and gentlemen, to understand who I am today is to understand where I come from. I am the 7th of 12 siblings, born on the island of Aitutaki. Mine was the childhood of island simplicity, of subsistence living, but of rich cultural tutelage. Growing up, my formative years were shaped through the eyes, values, and experiences of my parents. My father taught me discipline and the simple value of hard work, of sharing what we have, no matter how little. My mother, on the other hand, was the epitome of compassion and care. I was lucky to be raised by my grandmother from an early age, and unbeknownst to me, the period of my life spent with her was to also be my first lessons in leadership and responsibility. To have been empowered to care for and look after my grandmother in her twilight years was one of my greatest blessings, as I was witness to the elderly wisdom of my family's metua on a daily basis from a young age. Together with the teachings of my parents, my early life was shaped around the value of hard work, the importance of respect, and the centrality of our culture and our relationships in our communities to our Pacific way of life. These values have evolved with time and experience, but remain at the core of who I am as an individual and as a leader. Leadership for me manifests in many forms and at all levels of our societies and our communities. Whether we consider leadership through the perspective of culture, politics, or professional careers, I have found that it is always centered on and around the privilege of serving others. If I were to reflect and identify an individual who was instrumental in my own political career, Sir Geoffrey Henry, the former Prime Minister of the Cook Islands, would instantly spring to my mind. He was renowned for recognizing youthful potential and was, more often than not, the encouraging force behind young and eager youth who demonstrated early the qualities and abilities to advance quickly. Indeed, Sir Geoffrey's foresight nurtured leaders of our future, and it continues to be a quality that we should emulate and uphold for the sake of our younger generations. To have had the opportunity to serve my country as Prime Minister has been one of the highest honors of my life. When I took on the role of Prime Minister on the 30th of November 2010, I took an oath to serve my country and her people, to look beyond our individual differences, and to recognize that we are one people with one vision and a common destiny. We built on the work of the leaders who came before us. Together, we propelled a stronger foundation for self-determination, a framework of governance which recognized that our future is mapped by our own talents and foresight, and that the measures of success as well as failure are our own. This sentiment was critical to the vision that we had for our country at that time, which was to move towards greater self-reliance. In saying so, I recognized earlier on in my career that the future of my country lay not on the land we stood, but in the ocean that we call home. With this vision in mind, we transformed the narrative of the Cook Islands during my tenure as Prime Minister, from one of a small island developing state to that of a large ocean state. This very idea and concept is captured in our Blue Pacific identity and the notion of the Blue Pacific continent, the very ideals that now form the basis of the 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent. Similar to the notion of large ocean states, the Blue Pacific identity demonstrated a regional policy shift in our own ideology, from a collection of vulnerable island states to a cohesive and unified collective that together occupy an increasingly important strategic space in the world today. The prerequisite for this to be a true success is our solidarity and our unity as a Pacific Islands Forum. Because without a united forum, our strategic leverage is lost. Our current strategic context and the complexity of the challenges that we are faced with cannot be optimally addressed if we are not genuinely united and working towards a common vision. Indeed, our general approach to engagement has revolved around the principle, friends to all and enemy to none approach. However, if you look around us at the evolving global order today, I am sure you will agree that we live and exist in an increasingly polarized world. A world which continues to be dominated by the geopolitical tussle between two global superpowers. We witness the introduction of foreign policy ideologies that seek to embed contrasting worldviews into our regional norms and standards. We see the strategic neglect of 10 years ago being replaced by the proliferation of regional strategies and consortiums that serve to shape and influence engagement with and in our region, tantamount to what I would say strategic manipulation. We see these points of external influence increasingly creep into all facets of our operations, both at the national and the regional level, reaffirming that common saying, there is no such thing as a free lunch. Our Blue Pacific continent is an increasingly contested space. Regional and national stability is critical to maintaining and protecting peace and security, prosperity, and the well-being of all Pacific peoples and of peace. If I am honest, we must realize that the strategic interest and attention we enjoy today will not last forever, and we must capitalize on it in a manner that will ensure sustainable gains for our region and for our people for decades to come. Our partnerships must be genuine and durable, and premised on understanding, friendship, mutual benefit, and a collective ambition to achieve sustainable results. Underlying this partnership approach must be the recognition and respect for our Pacific leadership and the responsibility they carry for every decision made in order to garner support for the sustainable development of their own nations. With those reflections in mind, allow me now to turn to my own personal reflections on my tenure as a regionalist and the time I have left. Indeed, as we move forward from the challenges within the Forum family of 2021-2022, I am determined that the sacrifice that my government and I have made to ensure the solidarity of the Forum will not be in vain. I hope that in the remainder of my short term as Secretary General, I will be able to consolidate the political conversations I've had in the last 3 years to articulate my interpretation of the risks and the opportunities that lie ahead for regionalism. In doing so, I hope that my successor will be better prepared to navigate and steer the region towards a stronger collective future. Having now served in this role, I have come to appreciate the importance of the role of Secretary General in upholding regionalism, not only as its custodian, but as the link and conduit between the political leaders that together form the Pacific Islands Forum, and in leading the collective's management of the often diverse views of our partners. As I have learned the hard way in the last 2 years, this role and position is not for the faint-hearted. It has pushed me to my limits both physically and mentally. It has required me to dig deep into my political experience to strategically assess emerging issues. It has tested my diplomatic skills to the wire, and it has forced me to be increasingly decisive and assertive. But through it all, I am proud that the values and teachings of my parents and our elders has always been my core guiding light. Indeed, I imagine that this is the case for all regionalists today, who manage the expectations of their memberships and yet continue to work to progress our collective aspirations. To lead a country is an honor. To lead a region of multiple independent and self-governing countries and territories is a masterful art. In closing, allow me to reflect with some words of tribute which many of the students who have come through these doors are familiar with. Ko te manu e kaiana te miro, nona te ngāhere. Ko te manu e kaiana i te matauranga, nona te ao. The bird who feeds on the berries has the forest, but the bird who feeds on knowledge has the world. Through a leadership lens and with the Pacific Islands Forum in mind, we know the importance of collective strength to the future of our Blue Pacific continent. When that collective strength seeks to better know and serve the needs of all who live in our Sea of Islands, our vast moana nui o Kiwa, we can truly lead the world. Me te ki mata, thank you.